survival, semis, and capitulation. That's the trifecta today. Well, play the intro.
Wow. Good evening, ladies and gents, and welcome back to the Football Booth podcast. My name is Fennan. I'm one of your main hosts. I press all the buttons. I do all the tech stuff behind closed doors. And then with me, as always, I've got the creme de la creme. I've got Mayhem with me. How you doing, sir?
Cloud nine, mate. I am absolutely loving life. If I hadn't have had to go back to work today, I'd have been loving it even more.
Yep. And then going by that noise, we do have a third individual with us. Someone who's probably on cloud six and is brave enough to wear a Tottenham shirt. We got Cam. How you doing, mate?
I am very good. Yourself?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks. It feels weird.
They missed the penalty. They missed the penalty. James Maddison straight up Pickford.
Leicester missed the penalty. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Now Pickford's celebrating even though he's conceded 2 goals. But that's memed, isn't it?
So just to disclaim something right now, we are recording this whilst watching the Leicester Everton game. So if you hear Cam have any outbursts throughout this episode, that is the reason why. And
He'd
so
have had more outbursts if he could tell the time and he'd have put the bet on he wanted to put on.
Yeah.
Oh, mate, shocking. I thought you'd been on it already.
Playing FIFA, mate. I was playing FIFA.
Playing FIFA? It's April. No, it's not even that. It's May now.
It's May and some cunt grittied on me. I was like, Jesus Christ, mate. I was going to finish that.
I keep forgetting that's a celebration now in FIFA now. Christ.
Mate,
Well, we all know who grittied the other week, didn't we? Big TikTok Todd. He did the old gritty when they beat St Mirren. How did that work out for your Toddy boy?
Well, speaking of Todd Cantwell and TikTok, Rangers' time has run out for them to gain any opportunity of winning any silverware. And their last opportunity came this past weekend in the Scottish Cup semi-final. And of course we saw a massive goal from Jota, courtesy of a massive mishap from the Rangers defence. Well, more specifically, Ryan Kent, so to speak. And turned out to be the winning goal. And another good day out at Hampden. It feels like there's been plenty of those this season. Do you want to run us through what took place during that Saturday? No, it wasn't even Saturday, it was Sunday.
Mate, we'll just...
Oh, the camera doesn't pick it up. There we go.
that's sickening.
It's like Hun tears, that, mate. It's absolutely cool.
Hey.
Look, it was by no means a classic. And whether that was down to the teams kind of cancelling each other out, or people coming back in that we had probably been trying to save for the semi-final and they hadn't had as much game time and they weren't as up to speed or whatever else. On these days, performances, as much as you want a performance and you want to win, if you play well and lose, no one gives a fuck, right? And they can talk about how well they played. They booed their boys off at the end. So performances mean fuck all. What matters is beating each other, and that's what we've done. However many times Callum McGregor, I've lost count how many times Callum McGregor's gone to Hampden and won now. Probably has about 5 million. The guy we just turn up, play our football, had to defend a little bit this time in the second half.
Defended superbly as well, especially Cameron Carter-Vickers as well. I thought he was outstanding on Sunday.
The news after the game is that he's been carrying an injury for weeks, and that's going to be his last game. He's now off to be operated on, and he's out for the rest of the season. So he's carrying an injury in that game, and he's still an absolute colossus.
Yeah,
I thought Carl Starfelt defended superbly well.
Yep.
Alistair Johnson, obviously up into what looks like a serious knock. He was in that protective boot, although he was dancing at the end of the game, hopping more to the
dancing on one leg. Yeah.
If we break the game down, obviously the game starts Rangers come out certainly more intense than they have done in other derbies. Lundstrom does what he does and flies into a tackle because he can barely kick a football with that meatball brain of his, so he just has to fly in. They obviously had a tactic to go in and rough Kyogo up because they were leaving it on him, which is fair enough. If you're the worser team, you've got to try and deploy tactics to break up the better team. So we understand why Michael Beale and his mole has come up with that kind of strategy to get in and amongst it. So they started more intense. In the first sort of 15 minutes was kind of back and forth and a wee bit nervy. I think after the first 15 minutes we settled and started to control the game. Certainly, the passages of play that Rangers did have, they weren't threatening the goal, and we were looking the more likely. I thought Days and Maeda's work rate, as it always is, but again, I think it was spectacular. Kyogo as well,
Exceptional.
getting
Yeah.
back in. And there wasn't too much to talk about. There was sort of a lot of to and fro without much really happening. I think if the first half had ended 0-0, there wouldn't have been a lot to talk about up in the gantry at half time. And as the game was kind of unfolding, you could tell that while we were controlling the game, they were always going to come out hot in the second half. But Rangers do what they've done superbly well under Steven Gerrard, minus that COVID season when they had no fans. They've done fantastically well under Steven Gerrard, Van Bronckhorst, what they're doing extremely well under Michael Beale, and that's in these big games, in these big moments. Switch off, and we had a referee in change for the game. It was meant to be Willie Collum, and he obviously shit the bed and didn't want to be in charge of another derby, so he was subbed on for Dom Robertson, and John Beaton must have got the call from the Rangers supporters bar that he was in that he needed to stop drinking and come be fourth official. So he scurried down to get a match day ticket for it. It's always nice when you can make one of those wee boys' dreams come true. Match day ticket for the semi-final and all that. So in he came, and obviously we get a free kick. I mean, they're greeting at the fact that we took the free kick 5 yards forward, as if that made some kind of relevance to how fucking dog shite their team is. Callum McGregor pops it off to Matt O'Reilly. He's scanned down the wing, checks inside. I mean, he's clearly body checked. It's a foul.
It is a foul, yeah.
10 times out of 10 in any other league bar Scotland. Now, I get he let a few things go early on, but I think that's mainly because there was a shit ton of smoke and that absolute ball bag couldn't see. But Matt O'Reilly checks and he's body checked by whatever rat it is, Raskin or whoever the fuck it is.
I think it was Raskin that did it. Yeah, it was.
And then the ball stands there, and 4 of them shirk responsibility and point at the ball, and you try and use their Jedi mind tricks to clear it. Daisy Maeda gets onto it, goes down the line. Barisic, that God love the guy, couldn't fucking defend himself against the paper bag. How he's a professional footballer is unbelievable. But Maeda puts an absolute... It's a blind ball. I think Chris Sutton said it in commentary. It's a blind ball. He doesn't know anyone's there. He's just hoping that someone's getting in at the back post. And their Hall of Famer, their captain, Mister, you'll see the real Rangers next time, which he's consecutively said on 3 times. Let's Jota get inside him. Lets him get at the back post. Nods it in. 1-0. Same kind of story. We've all been here before. Rangers fullbacks letting them down, and I'm all for it. I'm absolutely here for their pain. It's fantastic. Inject it straight into my bloodstream. So we're 1 up, and again, look, we knew they were going to come out in the second half. There was going to be, they were going to be in the dressing room talking about no surrender and the King's 11 and all that other fucking shit that they set standards and all this other fucking absolute brown bro pish they talk about. They've failed to mention the Nazi flags and the Mussolini fascist quotes that was on their flags, but we move on, don't worry about it.
No.
Anyway, the second half...
There's nothing wrong with Nazis.
If you're a Hun. And the second half, we weren't good in the second half. The midfield wasn't great. Obviously, Alistair Johnson went off and Anthony Ralston come on, which... Ralston hasn't played a lot of football. He thrived under Ange, obviously, in the first season and was competing with Juranovic, but Alistair Johnson has well and truly locked that position down. Also because Ralston's been injured. So he was thrown into a white-hot atmosphere, a lot of pressure. I think he did all right. To be fair, they didn't really do a lot. and he was playing against Fashion Sakala, who, by the way, is never a football player. But they grew into the game, gained confidence, had a few half chances. Mr. Captain, fantastic, Hall of Famer, serial loser, James Tavernier, obviously hits the post.
Yep.
Pops out, Fashion Sakala 5 yards out on his stronger foot.
Who
Manages to
Ali
bury
McCoy's was calling for them to bring on at half time.
buries it into the side netting. I'm positive the boy's a Celtic fan. I'm positive because the last 2 times you've been at Hampden, the League Cup final, and then obviously the FA Cup semi final on the weekend there, he has missed some absolute chances. I'm absolutely convinced there's a picture of Hendrik Larsson on his wall when he was growing up. Because the chances he's missed is unbelievable. But again, I'm all for it. I think that makes him hurt more. It's all good. It's great. Apart from that, Joe Hart punched a few things away. They had a clear tactic. The tactic was get it to Tav and let him cross the ball. And Carl Starfelt and Cameron Carter-Vickers headed everything away. And while I think we watched, obviously watched the home derby where we won 3-2, and I was really nervy towards the end. I felt that we retracted back and they were pushing. And although they had a lot of the ball in this one, it just never felt like they were actually close. Like they didn't break through. They weren't 1-on-1. Joe Hart didn't have to make a spectacular save. It just all felt very comfortable. They were just crossing from 30, 35 yards out, swinging those balls in. We were heading them away. Yes, there was a wee bit of sustained pressure, and yes, where they've caused us problems over the last couple of games has been from set pieces and that. But it just felt comfortable, and with a couple of better decisions from Haksabanovic, potentially we could have nicked one on the break. I thought he did okay coming on. Haksabanovic, was kind of playing a different role than he would usually play. He was having to track back a lot more, which obviously you have to do in these derbies. But overall, it was pretty comfortable with us. Really, realistically, not really getting out of second gear in an attacking sense. Kyogo, sort of manufactured himself one of his chances that Alan McGregor stopped smartly, but for the most part wasn't in the game. Jota was okay. Maeda worked hard, but there wasn't a lot to it, and we kind of just coasted, headed the balls away. Yes, they had that sort of goal mouth scrap where Cameron Carter-Vick is kind of clearing it in the 6-yard box semi off the line. But apart from that, it was very sort of tame for a derby, especially, fair enough, we're going for a treble, but this is their season. Their season boils down to them stopping us winning a treble. Their season boils down to them winning the FA Cup because they've got fuck all else. Right, last year they obviously had the Europa League and they could kind of manufacture stuff like that. The Europa League run. This is literally their season in a game. And I think, look, if they'd have scored, they were growing into the game. If they'd have scored, it may have been a different story. It may have took a very similar sort of path to the semi-final last year, that we was in front, we let them equalise, and in extra time they maybe get stronger and stronger. But they didn't really look like scoring. I know they hit the post, but that's kind of a flash shot from.
That's really the only big chance they had, was Tavernier hitting the post and then Sakala's follow-up hitting the side netting. Apart from that, it just felt like an exceptional defensive performance.
And that's not. They haven't broke us down there,
No, exactly. Yeah,
it's a flash point where he's cut it back. Tavernier's hit it. It's hit the post, and then it's obviously bobbled out, and 50p foot has reacted first and absolutely stuck it wide. But it felt comfortable. Obviously these games are nervy, and the whole time there's the odd goal, you don't have. I've kind of watched it back and was trying to kind of analyze it and review it, and it definitely felt a lot more, that we was a lot more comfortable than perhaps what it felt on first viewing with the emotion in the game. But yeah, obviously Inverness Caledonia official in the final now. We can wrap the title up on the coronation weekend, which is absolutely glorious. Just to shit on their parade even more, while they're coronating their precious king. We can wrap the title up at Tynecastle, and then obviously we play them at Ibrox, dead rubber. Obviously, you still want to go there and win. Never want to lose to them, but it's a fucking meaningless game. So, they can take whatever they want for that, or build it up however they want it. It's fucking dead rubber. Everything's already gone. Your season dead. So it's just about now making sure that we protect and get over the line against Hearts and then protect and make sure that we have the strongest team. Obviously, it's going to be minus Cameron Carter-Vickers because he's going to go and have the operation. Make sure we have the strongest team possible for Cali Thistle on the 3rd of June.
Yeah, 100%. Well, I think what really made that game a massive spectacle was the electric atmosphere, as always, from the Celtic following.
Look, these games are special for both sets of fans. Obviously, the 50-50 split emphasises more than ever why we need to get back to having away fans and a decent number of away fans at these venues. And that's something clubs need to agree on. Obviously, I've only heard it from a Celtic perspective because why the fuck would you can't really talk to any one of them when they know that you're a Celtic fan until they just kind of start chatting about child abuse. It's a wee bit strange, but from what I've heard, Celtic wanted a return to full allocations and Rangers didn't want that, so Celtic just basically says, well, fuck is then, you get no tickets. And they followed suit. So I guess they'll reconvene in the summer. It doesn't need to go back to old allocations, like the European allocations that they give Dortmund, or the allocation they give to Partick Thistle the other week when they were there in the cup is absolutely fine, and we can follow suit with that. So it doesn't need to be a return to the full allocations of what they were. The European allocations are grand. It's just to get a bit of atmosphere back in the stadiums, sort of bring the derby back to what it used to be, the colour and the atmosphere of what's made it so special for 100 odd years. So we need to try and protect that and maintain it. It's obviously the biggest game in Scottish football, probably the biggest derby in the UK. One of them in Europe, and then obviously when you factor in the world's obviously crazy ones in Argentina and stuff like that. But
yeah,
it's
like
up there
Greece
with,
and Cyprus as well. You see clips of all of these ridiculous derbies where there's flares on flares and all
so it's
sorts
always
of
up there. I
madness.
mean, like Turkey's mental as well. Obviously, the Galatasaray, and
Fenerbahce, is it?
I,
Yeah.
The Milan derby.
The
yeah. So
Milan derby, sharing a stadium
I mean,
especially.
I don't get that shit, man. I can't. I struggle to
I
deal
don't
with
know
like
how
having a big
teams could ever do
fucking
that.
same stadium shit.
Could you
But
imagine Rangers and Celtics sharing the same stadium?
it's weird as well. Like they just basically switch around allocations. I've heard. So like if Inter are at home, they get like 3/4 of the ground, and then if AC are at home, they get 3. Fucking weird.
It should be
But
good watching
Should be
them in the
50-50
Champions League
always.
semi-final.
yeah, it's the
Yeah,
last
that'd be a
year.
really good spectacle.
It's the last year of the San Siro, and it gets knocked down after
Yeah,
this
and
year.
rebuilt.
So a nice way to sign off. But yeah, overall, great win for us, and is on the brink of a treble. A double in his first season and a treble takes us to 8 domestic trebles, which would be a world record. And with the league title, moves us very closer to that special, ridiculous statement they try and boast about being the most successful club in the world, even though it's complete and utter bullshit.
Yeah, it's that Egypt team or something, isn't it?
Yeah, that have won a shit ton more. But the problem that they'll have
that Egypt
is that,
team
is that Celtic will surpass their trophy haul, and then they're not even be able to say they're the most successful team in Scotland. So fuck the world. You won't even be able to say that. So they're sweating. Obviously, Morelos and Kent were invisible, and apparently they're out of contract at the end of the season. So yeah, Michael Beale's got a big job. To be honest, I think if he doesn't beat us at Ibrox, and he was to lose any more of the split fixtures, he wouldn't have a lot of goodwill left with not only the Rangers fans but the board. So a bad start to next season could see yet another manager get booted.
Yep.
But I'm all for it. Fuck them. Absolutely enjoy their pain and enjoy winning the league next week. And we can celebrate that properly because some cunt's getting a crown on his head.
Bank holiday.
And then it's all around to the 3rd of June.
Oh,
And,
yeah, the good old coronation, yeah.
We'll be back at
Selby's 4. This is 14-16, mate. This is unreal.
Right, so Cam's moved over to watching some of the snooker now. I was
Unreal.
Cam, do you have any thoughts you'd like to add on Celtic season?
Celtic season,
Yeah.
it's good, mate. It's good. What I've watched, it's been hard.
From what
I
you've
don't
watched,
I don't
nothing.
like the old firm games. I watch it here and
Yeah.
there. The old firm games bore me, mate.
No old firm.
I think we play poor every
Not
single
an old
time.
firm.
I think it's just a pointless statement, but whatever. I think we play poor every time. Grow into games. I haven't seen us have a decent performance in one of them. The one we won 4-0 while I was at work, and then I just watch us grit our way through games and scrape it through. But we got the job done at the end of the day. It's a mistake, like Joel said. It's a mistake on their part. Earliest to the ball, Shaw makes up for missing an absolute howler in the first, where he just doesn't know if to shoot it or take a touch, and then scores. We win. Simple. Done. Lovely.
Well, I think it's only right that I mean, you got the colours on, Cam. I don't know if you're emotionally ready for this.
Oh, mate, I switched off a long time ago.
Where do we start? I mean,
Where do you want to go? I missed.
We missed last week, didn't we?
We'll go.
We did miss last week, so we have a lot to catch up on.
Let's start it. Newcastle away.
Wow. Oh, so that's where you want to start. Okay.
Keep your nut down, because you'll have to come home in 15 minutes if you've been to Newcastle away, for fuck's sake.
Wow. There we go. Good start. It was a great 20 minutes from the boys. Really done us proud. Just we can't defend at the best of times, and then we go, let's put 4 of them. Let's put 4, and then what sums up Newcastle away is we brought Sanchez on 28 minutes, and we brought Davinson Sanchez on. I just gave up.
Hugo hooked at half time.
Oh, Hugo can die, mate. World Cup medal.
I wondered why Forster had been in goal for.
Apparently, the rumor is that the senior players told him he's shit. Basically, don't.
Well, I mean, they're not wrong, are they?
They're not. But he walks around with his World Cup winners medal and runner-up medal, I guess. So, yeah, poor. Really, they paid for the fans' expenses. That tells you everything you need to know with that performance. They should have just paid the money. Like, they're victims of a crime. That's a hate crime.
Should have just given them their week wages, really.
At Newcastle away, and then we go to Manchester United come to White Hart Lane, or Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, whatever you want to call it. It's called White Hart Lane. Don't know why they haven't done it. They come there, 2-0 down, and you're thinking, this is enough of battering. But something happened, and, a bit of a backbone, and Tottenham started playing football, and it was mental. It was a crazy saying. Scored a goal. I was like, I don't know how to feel about this. Scored another one. I was like, oh my God, what's this? A performance. Playing through the midfield? What's all this about? There's other players, and then we should have probably won that game, which is mental to say, but it was a draw, and can't remember what score. And you think, I'll take that. And then we travel to Anfield, which we don't travel well to at the best of times. I was expecting a battering. I'm not gonna lie. I was expecting 7 with that team.
Is there anywhere you travel well to?
Give me a minute. Let me think. No, probably
right.
not.
So Anfield, right?
Anfield,
so and it was looking to be a similar outcome as it was at St James's Park at one point.
7. I'm not gonna lie to you.
But it was only as little as 3.
Yeah, but Jones scored, and basically that's 7. If you make Curtis Jones look good, that guy's dog. Tess, you lay back down. Yeah, Curtis Jones scored. It was a good ball.
Tess is a dog.
Yeah, she's a dog.
He's got a fucking captive human being that he's ordering about.
Fucking call me.
Right, move on. Don't say anything else. Let's go.
Keeping him in line.
Just in case you forgot, Curtis Jones has buried one.
Squad.
Then Luis Diaz, who's been injured for 2 years,
who's a
gets
really
a
good
second.
player, and I thought would score.
Luis Diaz.
And then Romero goes halfway up Gakpo's fucking leg, gives away a penalty.
And Mo Salah scores his first penalty.
Which is
He's good at missing them, but against Tottenham.
And then Tottenham, that they sort of was like, oh, we know how to play football now. Like mental, we'll just go up and score. And I was like, yeah, that's one. No, that's on for the bet. Where's the other five coming from? And then Sun scored, and then I was steaming, and I didn't watch the rest of the game.
Well,
But woke
you
up,
were steaming.
woke up.
Well, Kane scored the first goal,
Yeah, Sun scored the
and
second.
then Son scored the second.
I watched that, and I was like, that's good enough for me. I'll take that. And then I woke up to 4-3. I was like, what the fuck's going on here? Richarlison scored, took his shirt off. Don't know why.
Just all at Anfield, nearly jumped into the away end. He's got more tattoos than a fucking gang member.
Yeah, he looks like a gang member.
He probably is one as well.
Who scored this? Goal of the season, mate. Curtis Jones, what a baller.
Curtis Jones.
It's not. It's fucking Iwobi, mate. Jesus Christ, that's an instant win. And then, then Jota throw kick skip, which is a fair tackle in my opinion. But hey ho, Tottenham fans will cry, I guess. Then you think, 3-0, scored a late goal, we'll take that. And then Alisson's like, I just kicked the ball long, and Lucas Moura goes, fuck this club, mate. He goes, sure, you want to go score the winner? Just passes back. Who? Why? What? Where? How does he do that? And Jota takes it well. It's a great ball. It's a great finish. And
Jota Sundays.
Jota Sundays. Robinson posted it.
Yeah. He knew what he was at. He knew what he was at. Big. Obviously coming through the Celtic academy.
This is why I'm not too upset. Imagine Tottenham going to finish like 7th or 8th. Shit season. But we've not led the league for 247 nights, have we? We've not been chatting the most shit since January that we're going to win the league. Tottenham, the bowl club, blah, 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 blah. 11 points clear, you cunts were. 11 points clear. Yeah, you didn't fuck it against City. You didn't. You fucked it before City. 2-0 up at Anfield. That's gone. 2-0 up against West Ham. That's gone. 3-1 down against Southampton. You drew a 3-0. Fuck them. And then you went to the Etihad. This team, oh, look, we're going to beat them. We're going to play the best. We're the best in the league. Blah, 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 blah. And you got battered. You got embarrassed. You got humbled, mate. Fucking Holding's holding on to his career, mate. Haaland's turning him. Kevin De Bruyne, who we're comparing Odegaard to. Kevin De Bruyne, who ran that show. Odegaard, fuck that boy off to Real Madrid again. Dog. Yeah, Saka, amazing season. Where's he gone? Where did he go? Where'd he go? Bye. Jesus. Oh, what a signing. It's a great signing, but he looked like Richarlison. Shit. Pointless. Xhaka. Oh, threw your t-shirt on the ground, told your fans to fuck off, and you're like, he's a great player, look at him. Dog shit. Absolute dog.
Dog.
Partey, rapist, got raped at City. Simple.
Allegedly.
There's no allegedly.
Innocent until proven guilty.
He got battered, mate. He got what he'd done to his victims at the end.
Allegedly.
Ben White turned, mate. Ben White looked white because he got fucking ripped.
Allegedly white. Is he?
Oh, best goalkeeper.
Got mistaken for William Saliba. Oh wait, no, out for the season.
Best goalkeeper in the world as well at some point. Ramsdale, dog. How are you not saving the first one? Absolutely dreadful, mate. Dreadful performance.
Doesn't cover himself in glory with that first goal from KDB.
But don't worry, you'll beat Chelsea, because if you don't, that's fucking more embarrassment. You can talk all you want about the Tottenham season. I don't care. Yeah. Oh, you've won as much as we've won this season, and you've led the Premier League. Yeah. Simple fact. Yeah. Simple. Bold it. This right here. This sums up your fucking season, lads. Sums it up. Can I ask? Have Tottenham ever had that outside their stadium? No, we haven't. Because in that season we bowled the league, we never led it. We didn't lead that season, lads. So how have we done it? You beat Leicester home and away that season and finished second. So surely that's another league title you bottled. You're good at finishing. You're good at Christmas. Shit when it matters. Go win an FA Cup and be big in Europe. Go get pumped again by Bayern Munich. You're a big team. You ain't nothing fucking big about you, mate. Simple as. Yeah? You can be the North London's red. London's blue, so fuck off. Win something in Europe and come back to me. Yeah? do something with a European title. Because Tottenham, they've won one. I know it's black and white. You go on about the Invincibles still. The biggest game in your season for 20 odd years, yeah, didn't show up. Good at that, aren't you? Champions League finals with these incredible players. Didn't show up. But do you know who did? Mr. Hendrik Larsson, who assisted too. Small club. Small. I'm done. I don't want to hear about it. Till you win a European Cup, shut up. Be quiet. Simple. Done.
I don't think he needs us for this episode, does he? Should we just fuck off?
That was
That was beautiful. That was
was
utterly.
six.
That was so beautiful.
That was 6 months of pent up frustration
I think he's gone to cool off now as well.
that has come.
Or get his
That's
dog.
It's come streaming out. But you know,
I mean, where do we track back to after that?
I mean, the truth of the matter is, you know, if we're dissecting Tottenham, then you know there's a lot of work that needs done.
Yeah.
But you know, if we're and I imagine we'll touch more in depth on it, and Cam will get to go again later on with Arsenal. But yeah, you know they've let themselves down. But reverberating around Spurs, yeah, you know, at least they showed a little bit of fight. Ryan Mason is clearly getting something out of them that Antonio Conte and the assistant, whoever the fuck he was,
Oh, that's Stellini. Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a weird one.
that obviously he wasn't getting out of them. But yeah, it looks like probably Thursday night football in some kind of
If they're lucky, to be honest.
in some kind of variation, whether it be Conference League or Europa League.
I don't care. Wrap the season up now. My season's over, mate. My season's over. Them not winning the. If they'd have won the league, I'd have been done, mate. I wouldn't have minded if they were just quiet, but they were talking the most. I've never heard anyone talk so much shit in my life. 11 points clear. You thought they had the league title. Arsenal thought they'd engraved it already. It was like, what do you mean they're second now? No, they're not. They've won the league. We've got the league title. Fans buying 33,000 to go watch Wolves. What are you watching now? Second place. Fucking idiots, mate. Idiots. You're not talking about Man United that's going to drop points. You're talking about the best team ever to see in the Premier League. Man City, they'll go down. They're on for a treble. A team that just grinds out results. You need to go perfect. You weren't beating them. If you'd have drew at Anfield and won your other games, you might have done it. But you're not. You hadn't. You bowled it. Your moments came and you choked. Big players step up. Saka misses the penalty, unfortunately. But this is what wins league titles. And you're not good enough. This is your season over. Wait for another 20 years. Because you ain't getting a chance now. Not with Newcastle. Liverpool will be back. Chelsea can't be as bad as they were. Tottenham, they're never winning a league title. Don't worry about that. So you can banter me all you want. I won't see Tottenham win a league title. Sin us. We've had our years. Champions League finals, second, third in the 2-horse race, where you beat them twice. I just want to repeat that. You beat them twice. You lost to everyone else but the team that won the league. How did we bowl it? You finished second. Dog shit. But yeah, you know, it's over. Your long reign of waiting for another title, it's another 20 years. Because under Arteta, he's dog, mate. He's dog. He's done well here. He's done well. Lampard finished fourth for that Chelsea team. Like, you have these seasons. Leicester won the league. Newcastle are doing stuff. Newcastle, they're another team. Fuck off back to being small. Yeah. You beat us 6-1. Do you know how many times I had to see that? What have you done in your history? You got a fucking statue up there. Angel of the North. Fuck off back there. Get European. The biggest moment in your season ever is 98. I'd love to beat them. I'd love to beat them. That's it. That's all you've done, Newcastle. And Shearer holding up his hands, which Kane's going to beat that. So that's all you've got. Gone. Yeah? It's gone, mate. You get Champions League football here and there, but you can fuck off as well, man. I'm done with clubs need to act their size, mate. They do. You've done nothing. It annoys me, mate. You were in the Championship a couple of years ago, and now you've got some oil money. You're here talking with the big boys. Fuck off, are ya? The only reason you sell out is there's nothing else to do in Newcastle, for fuck's sake. Is see the Angel of the North, and that's it. Fuck off back there, man.
It's a good week.
Tiger's got vibes,
I was
though.
going to say, like, it's a good weekend the way that.
Yeah, of course it is. Cheap and cheerful, because there's fuck all else up there. Big Sports Direct, but I'm sure they've sold that off as well. Like, fucking hell, man.
Oh, I can't breathe.
Are you feeling better?
Yeah, mate, yeah.
Let a lot go there.
Oh, it's just pent up rage, man. Clubs just need to act their size. That's what I mean. Like, people just talk. Arsenal fan had the cheek to tell me, like, what have Celtic done? Won a European Cup. What the fuck have you done? You've won a cup winners' cup. That is paying for a prosy, mate. That is nothing you brag about. That's one of them ones you just keep to the side. You're like, it happened. It happened. We don't talk about it, but it happened, yeah?
Like the
Simple.
Audi Cup.
Yeah, mate. We won something. Yay. At this stage, like, this is what I mean. Like, you boys talk down here, they go, oh, like a domestic double for Man United. It's not good enough. You're the biggest club in the world. You have to win league titles. Simple as.
Let's go back to rejoicing. So we've gone from ranting to rejoicing. Obviously, we missed last week. Probably strange because not a great result on the weekend, but you were safe before that.
Yeah.
Albeit, you know, it hadn't been mathematically confirmed, but the goal swing and everything you used were safe. But obviously, sketchy season. You know, Sabri's come in, hasn't been plain sailing. Obviously, low points off the derby and poor performances, and at times you did, you know, there was suspect of potentially Charlton away in your future, which would have been brutal for you. But rejoice, mate. Here we are. Championship status confirmed for next season. Is it? I imagine that there's a lot of relief in there, but there's got to be a little bit, a glimmer of, you know, pride, especially, you know, with the Rotherham result that basically secured the safety as well.
Yeah, it's. I mean, like you said, it's been a nightmare season, but at least we've had a happy ending. We've had to, this is a season where we've been under 3 managers, and it feels like now we may have got something going under Sabri Lamucci. Obviously, not the finished article by all means, based off the result on the weekend, where I think we had the pedal off the gas from the first minute, and there was plenty of rotation in the side, and there wasn't really that urge that we had in.
Is that maybe Sabri knowing that you're basically safe, and he's maybe having a look at who needs to be at this club next season, and who he can look to get out the door?
I hope so. I hope it gives him a strong sense that Jack Simpson needs to fuck right off in the summer, because he's just nowhere near good enough for the Championship. Never mind Cardiff if we went down to League One, if worst case scenario took place. But I'd like to think that Sabri's got a good idea of who he wants to keep. I've got a good, he's already come out and said that he's already identifying potential incomings come the summer, and he's had talks regarding his contract over the past 24 hours.
To be available, mate.
Yep, they can keep that cunt.
I don't think they are.
I'd much rather have Jaden Philogene on loan for another season.
Shelby is now 15-16.
Oh, fuck that cunt.
Good final, mate.
Good for him. If there's one piece of business that I hope that he's looking to explore is getting Sorry Calba back in, because that man has been nothing more than a breath of fresh air to the side. This is a guy who's scored 7 goals in his last 10 games and has almost single-handedly kept us up this season. Like I said, prior to the Huddersfield game on Sunday, it was crunch time. We had 2 big games away from home that, especially after we drew at home to Stoke, going to Vicarage Road, which is always a difficult place to go to, especially in the Championship. was always going to be an uphill battle, and it looked to be that way where we go 1-0 down early doors, and then it just sort of flicked a switch in the players, and all of a sudden we go up the other end. A piece of and like I'll get onto this individual in a moment, but a piece of absolute brilliance from Keon Etete gets us back into the game within a flash, and then great reactions from Cedric Kipre to pick up on a loose ball from a deflected shot by Ryan Wintle to then fire home and put us 2-1 up. And then we've known from when he came in January that Sorry-Kaba likes a bicycle kick every now and then, and he finally managed to put one of them away and gave us that insurance that we needed over Watford. And like the rest of that game, like especially the second half, was without a doubt we had to throw bodies in the way and give 200% and bomb back and forth. And like I said, with Keon Etete being that individual who just was immense, absolutely immense. I feel like it's taken a long time for someone like Keon Etete to get going, because he came in, he had a lot of promise around him, came in from the Spurs Academy, 500k, which is quite a big transfer fee for a club like Cardiff, and came in with a lot of promise and was dubbed to be our next Kiefer Moore. He's going to be the guy who's going to hit double digits in goals, and can you have him back? I don't know if there is a buyback clause in Keon's contract, so I'm not too sure. Apparently there isn't, but there was a lot of talk about him having one. Ooh. So, by all means, if they're aware of it, then they're more than welcome to activate it. But he's a player that is still very young. He's still in his early 20s, and he's had to work his way up through the tiers when being out on loan. He was in League 2, and then he was in League 1 last season. And then this was the next step for him, essentially. And he's had his problems with injuries. He's had little niggles along the way. And so, for him to come into this team and for Sabri to put in a lot of faith for him, and on top of that as well, for me to say a few weeks ago that I wanted Connor Wickham to start ahead of him, I think based off of what he produced in that Watford game and then in that Rotherham game, which I'll get onto in a moment, it's just honestly, like, I've eaten my words completely, and this is someone that we really need to mould into the team next season.
I think, yes, look, the obviously recent performances from him have been heroic. They've saved your season, but there is there was. Obviously, he's been, but the competition for places is superb, and Connor, and that front line has played its part. You're talking about, I'll butcher his name, but the boy you want back on loan, Philogene, that's been fantastic.
Pasta dish, isn't it?
Look, anything's better than Filipino, like Maria said. So you're grand.
Connor Wickham's performance at Blackpool obviously was a massive game, and then obviously, again, the name's gone out of my head, but the boy that's come in and scored the goals obviously at Rotherham and Watford, and has obviously produced. But you need that competition for places. You need, to keep people honest, that they know that they're not going to start week in, week out. Maybe that was the problem when he first come in. Who did he really have challenging him? I think that's been a little bit of a problem for a little while at Cardiff. There's a lot of people that come and they've got this promise about or they come up through the academy, Ruben Colwell, and the what's the boy, Isaac Davis?
Davis, yeah.
They just know that if they put in a little bit, that they're going to get a run of games because there's no competition. And Colwell hasn't sort of hit the form he expected him to hit the season after finishing last season so strongly. But realistically, he thought he was going to walk into that team because what was there. So the boys coming from Spurs thought, well, I'll be starting. Who is there? And then obviously he's had his injury problems, been out of the team. Connor Wickham's been putting in performance to start, and maybe it's clicked. I think, you know what? I've got to go out here and fucking perform because This guy's he's got all this in the bank. He's got that Blackpool performance in the bank. He's got that, I've got to go out here and perform. And the Watford game was 100% a catalyst for saving your season. No one expected you to go to Vicarage Road and get points. And that must have filled the boys with, all the confidence in the world.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, by all means, I don't think we've been great at home either. I think every team in the Championship has looked at Cardiff away thinking, yep, easy 3 points, like, rubbing their hands together and licking their lips. But I think in recent weeks, we've been fantastic away from home. Like, bar, the odd few, like Sheffield United, where we were out of dog shit. But, I think the Watford result, like you said, was the catalyst for us to really, steam ahead forward and go to the New York Stadium again, even though we shouldn't have done. And I think a lot with that came with there being still a lot of animosity as to what happened previously when we last went to the New York Stadium, and the away end let them know as well. Chanting, "Is this a swimming pool? Is this a swimming pool?" But we came out firing from the first whistle. We got that first goal. Again, Kiona Katete, brilliant to get in front of his man and to head home. And then Rotherham get a shitty equaliser, even though it's a shove on Cedric Kitpray, but still given, but we won't talk about that. And then the game, I felt like the nerves after that equaliser really settled in, especially after when Kaba missed that penalty as well, where he hits the bar. That made it. 2 of his 3 penalties that he missed previously against Stoke at home. And so then I felt like the nerves really kicked in, and it became a battle of set pieces as to who could execute them better. What the fuck is that? He's definitely making his fucking feelings known tonight. And then, yeah, like I said, it was who could execute the set pieces better, and we came off the better, where NG whips a ball in, scramble in the box, falls to Kitpray, half volleys home perfectly, and just sends the away end to raptures, and we see the game out. And that was really our cup final. That was the crunch game where we needed to come away with 3 points, and all it took was for Reading to drop points over the weekend, which they ultimately did at home to Wigan. And so it just became a nothing game yesterday against Huddersfield, where, like I said, like Sabri rotated, and there was a few injuries as well along the way that came in that game. Like Etete went off 12 minutes in with a hamstring problem. Kitpray went off in the second half at one point, and Rulesy, again, another big player in recent weeks for us. I mean, like, you talk about the front line being rotated and, trying to really identify what is our best front line going forward. Like, I think it's been the case with the midfield as well. Like, we inherited a whole new squad this last summer under Steve Morrison, and this was a squad that he had a true understanding as to what he wanted from this new breed of players. And he gets the boot after 10 games. Mark Hudson is chucked into that role, and things went backwards after Hudson stepped in, and it's like, I can't blame him, because I don't think he really had much of a choice. I think he felt confident in himself that he could really add a bit of continuity for Steve Morrison's vision, and could carry Cardiff and drag us up the table. And ultimately things went the opposite direction. He then got the boot, and then Sabri came in, who I felt had a much different philosophy than to what Steve Morrison did. And he only brought in Kaba in that January transfer window, and then he just relied on this group of players that he had inherited from Steve Morrison. And so I think he's had a few months to really identify what players are worthy of keeping, who are going to fit the system moving forward. And I do feel there is a sense of comfort and fluency amongst the players now. I feel We play much better football nowadays. The defensive work can still do with some rooms for improvement. I think the goalkeeping department we need to address in the summer, because it's just a case of whether you want to step.
Lloris if you want, mate.
No, keep Hugo. I'd rather keep who we got, to be honest, rather than Hugo Lloris.
There's no hiding that there's been an ill feeling around Cardiff, not just this season. It's been there for a while. A lot of that resonates from the board and stuff that's happening off the pitch, but those kind of problems, those kind of insecurities in a football club, often that leaks onto the football pitch. And I think at certain times this season we certainly feared the worst. Things weren't
absolutely,
going well.
yeah.
Mark Hudson, Steve Morrison, not really being given a fair crack at it. Really, the fact that you had to bring so many people in. But I think at the end of that transition, as long as they don't, if things start slowly next season, as long as they don't bin, Sabri, which we know Vincent Tan, and if it isn't, if the goalkeeper isn't scoring 25 goals, then he probably will want to sack him. But I think there just needs to be, on the field with Cardiff, there just needs to be a bit of stability. It needs to be one manager. It needs to be given time. It needs to rebuild. It needs to bring in players that he wants, because like you said, this is a Steve Morrison team. This is 21 new signings, so he needs to have a little bit of time to bring in players that he wants, that he's identified, that suit and implement and are accustomed to play the way that he wants to play and build. And I think Cardiff, I think we'd all agree, are a team that we're used to, certainly within our sort of lifetime watching football. There's been a team pushing for playoffs or in that playoff mix-up up in the Premier League, and then ultimately coming back down. But I think it's maybe a rebuilding phase. So, keeping the players that he's identified that can play in the style and are going to be fine for next season. Getting rid of a few that are probably Steve Morrison type players that probably aren't what he wants, and building on taking yourself from a relegation battle to security, that mid-table security, and then pushing on, having a vision and sticking with that. Not going gun ho after 10 games, saying right, the vision here is to build over the next 3 years. So what do we want from next season? Not to be in a relegation battle, because that's what we've been in for the last 2 years, and it's unacceptable. That Cardiff City are scrapping, worrying about the championship status. So solidarity, making sure that when at no point you're dragged into that dogfight, you're on that kind of 55, 60 point mark that, you're coming into the last sort of 4 or 5 games, you kind of look up and say, if we went on a run, we might get the playoffs, but realistically, you're probably too far back. You're just in that kind of Preston hub where they are at the moment.
Yeah.
That, and then building after that, give him a few windows, let him implement. Because like you said, performances have improved, but still at times, there's been too many bystanders, too many passengers in big games. Look at the derby. And
the derbies are a big one. I mean, and like you said, it's been like that for the past 2 seasons where we've lost to them in both fixtures. It's not good enough. It's by all means not good enough. And this is where, like, Vincent Tan has got to call off his ruthlessness and actually show some patience in Sabri Lamouchi's philosophy going forward.
Yeah, I think there has to be an understanding that the Championship is an incredibly competitive division. But if you fall, even though you look at Cardiff and you say like they should be pushing, because only it was like 2-3 years ago they were in the Premier League. If you fall to that bottom tier, it is difficult to then rebound, and it's not impossible. I mean, you look at Middlesbrough and what Michael Carrick's done, and obviously Sunderland that come straight up. So it's not impossible, but I think you look at the structure more around like Blackburn that have over the last 3 seasons progressed and been in and around the playoff setup this year and having a good season. So I think that's the kind of mould. We know that Vincent Tan is going to throw around a lot of money, so it's going to have to kind of be utilising the loan market and potential player sales if any of those
Yeah.
come and free agents. But I think it just has to be a steady rise. And like I said, hopefully he sells the club, but that doesn't look likely.
No,
Um,
absolutely not.
so someone he just ultimately anyone can be a football owner if they've got an okay amount of money, they can be a football owner. But the important thing, what we're seeing with fucking absolute wet wipe that's gone in at Chelsea, is you can have all the money in the world, but what you actually need is football people around you.
Yeah,
If you don't
100%.
understand, what you need to do is get people in place to understand the game, sporting directors, directors of football, people that know the game, know how to run a football club, know how to go out and identify talent, know how to negotiate, and you just you fund the club and come to the games and watch the games. But ultimately, as an owner, you do very little else. You
Yeah,
make
that's
sure
it.
that the structure at the club is harmonious and everyone is in to do that specific job and they're good at that job, and you let them go off and do that.
This is
And
it, yeah, and that's what Cardiff lack. Like, we don't have any footballing individuals in the hierarchy whatsoever,
Neither does
including
Chelsea.
yeah, and Chelsea as well. And the cards that Sabri has been dealt for these past few months, and the job he's done, and take into account as well that we've had our top scorer out for the last 2 months in Callum Robinson. I think he's done a fantastic job to stabilise and keep our championship status.
Oh,
And
I did
and that's what we need the most right now is stability and a little bit of continuity. He'll go back into the loan market because Tan won't give him the funds that will take us to the level of the likes of Blackburn or Middlesbrough or whoever else. We are at best at the moment a mid-table championship team right now. That's the best we are right now.
what I did what look tune in for the Rotherham game. I thought I was on Disney Plus because the Hunchback of Notre Dame was up front for fucking Rotherham.
Oh,
A blast
fuck
from the
that cunt
past.
and all, yeah.
Juden Hugel.
Jordan Hugel, Christ almighty. That was a loan I was very happy not to see get extended last
But
season.
do you remember when he started? He actually started decent, and we were like, "Oh, here's maybe a player here." How wrong were we?
How wrong were we? His next goal after that, I'm pretty sure, was Derby away to send them down on the final day of the season.
But it
not
just
bad,
goes to
Tom.
show that sometimes, we could admit that we're wrong, and we did get it wrong about the Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Another club that we feel there isn't many footballing brains within the hierarchy, and that is Chelsea. Todd Bowley,
Yeah.
who's splashed ridiculous amounts of money, has brought Frank Lampard back at the club. Things haven't got better. In fact, maybe got worse.
The cunt has watched too many episodes of fucking Ted Lasso, mate, and he thinks that
What a reference.
he thinks he can roll up, and he knows soccer inside out. Like he comes in and he's sacking people left and right. He's the fucking Elon Musk of the footballing world. Just comes in like in Alan Sugar style. You're fired. You're fired. You're fired. And then he's probably starting to realise now that
We're fucked.
wish we'd have kept a few of those people. Chelsea have been, a winning machine for the last
Two
probably
decades.
10, 20 years. They've always won. They've always had successful coaches in Ancelotti, Conte, Mourinho.
The list goes on and on.
Under people like Scolari.
Even like Di Matteo, he won the Champions
Uh,
League with them.
so they've
Is
had
that gonna? Oh, fucking hell!
they've had these absolute winners in. And look, I think we was all in agreement that we were happy to see Graham Potter get a chance. He'd done a fantastic job at Brighton, but I
Yeah,
think we also said,
definitely.
like, you're taking the Chelsea job is a big risk, because you're not going to get time to settle. You're going to be expected to win straight away because that's what that fan base expects.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you know, 2 Champions Leagues, multiple league titles, multiple domestic trophies again in modern, you know, English football history. So that they're an expectant fan base. They expect the money that's spent, whether it be under Abramovich or whether it be under this new ball bag. You know, they're going out and spending heaps. Now, how much did Potter? How much of a say did Graham Potter have in those transfers, like Enzo Fernandez and
None.
these? You would
Literally
suspect
none.
he has very little. The fact they're spending all this money and they don't buy a striker, which was for anyone watching who knows anything about football, it was so clear that what they lacked was a proficient number 9. Right, they've got Raheem Sterling, and you know they've got Mudryk, and all the fancy set up players, Fernandez and Kante and Kovic, and they've got Thiago Silva at the back, who's actually looked. Whenever I've watched him, he's actually looked okay for someone who's like 57 now or something. You know, they're flicking between keepers. Mendy was the best thing since sliced bread. Now they're back to this Kepa cunt. So realistically, someone needs to come in.
Yeah. They
You
even
know,
brought in that centre back as well, the French one, and they can't even register him for the Champions League.
they've just brought everyone, haven't they?
Yeah.
Anyone that was available, they've just brought.
But you got to say they've put Poch in there, which is a good appointment.
Is that official? Is he actually coming in
Yeah.
the summer?
I
Is
thought
it
he was
official?
already there. No,
No, he's
he's
not.
already there.
No, he's not already there. No, Lampard's in charge until the end of the season, and then Poch will come
What?
in the summer. Yeah.
Mate, I'm sure I see that on Sky Sports that they've appointed him.
No, they said that Lampard will remain in charge until the
Oh.
end of the season, and then Poch will come in
Well,
the summer.
Is it official?
I thought I see it.
I don't know if it's
Sky
official
Sports.
though. I don't think it's official just yet. I know
thought it said
We're
I know they've held talks, but I don't think if they've actually certified anything and have anything set in stone about him joining Chelsea in the summer.
Arteta saying this is not over. Good for you, Arteta.
Oh, bless him.
Yeah, Lampard's definitely still there because he's talking about the game tomorrow.
He's talking about he wish he had a magic wand.
Yeah.
Oh, mate.
So I think it's still rumours.
Oh, well.
I think Poch is probably the best that
I think that's the
they're
best
gonna get.
option that they can get. Yeah.
Which is probably be a bit disappointing for Chelsea fans because for all of his, for all of the accolades, what they're used to bringing in is winners, and Poch is more of a project manager.
Yeah.
You know, if you look at like Southampton and Spurs, and he did that over a period of time, whereas when he goes into Chelsea, like we were saying about Graham Potter, he won't get time to build.
No.
It will be results based from day one. So, but who else is out there really that's going to take on the job? Apparently, Nagelsmann held talks with Chelsea and then pulled out. So again,
Yeah.
whether Chelsea favoured Poch and were just kind of
I doubt
playing the
it.
market, I don't know. Nagelsmann, apparently they asked him to come in 2 or 3 times, apparently, and then in the end he just pulled out. So,
Oh wow.
seems a little bit strange.
Well, I was speaking with Kian earlier about the Chelsea situation regarding Poch, and Kian brought up quite an interesting theory, and that was that this is his words, not mine, and he said that I don't think Poch will come to Chelsea unless he has one condition, that Todd Boehly goes in and signs Harry Kane for Chelsea in the summer.
Why? What was this kid smoke crack through a fucking Coke can?
I mean, this kid's older than us, mate.
Okay, that's good enough for me. No, it's not. They're never going to happen. Kane's away to United. They fell out. Everyone turned on Poch. That's why he got sacked from Tottenham. I can't see it happening. Kane goes to Man United, and that's it. Kane beats Shearer's record. He goes to United. United have a good season, finishing second behind City, who win it again. And, maybe gets 30 goals. bit closer to
I was
Shearer.
me and Cam were talking about this, and obviously there is his point is valid as well. But I think if Tottenham are looking to bring a manager in, obviously Nagelsmann is the name that's being touted. If they're bringing in someone of that ilk, I think the stipulation will be that they don't sell Harry Kane, and if he doesn't sign a new contract, then he doesn't sign a new contract. Now,
Yeah.
obviously, that goes against Daniel Levy's principle and how he's run the football club over his tenure in charge. But I honestly think if they're looking to attract someone that isn't fucking Brendan Rodgers, then
I'd have Brendan Rodgers at Tottenham.
Ryan will come in and they'll be like, "Oh, David Ginola, if you're
But
here."
this,
Fucking
who
absolute
have I
sucking off
got? I've
saying he
got
was a Tottenham fan from his 5-year-old.
Oh,
I've
and he
got
had great
Ryan
character.
Mason, mate.
Fuck,
Ryan Mason,
fuck
fucking
that
head
rat
injury,
cunt.
mate. It's the biggest thing he's ever done in his career.
Like, I honestly, if Tottenham want to bring in someone like Nagelsmann, a progressive young coach that's going to play the type of football that is the way of the modern era. Like at the moment, Tottenham's sitting their shape like Mourinho and Conte. I think Gary Neville spoke about it on the game on Sunday. They're just sitting their shape now. Like Tottenham's been destroyed. Growing up, Tottenham were they didn't win anything, but they played attractive football. There was a brand, there was a style.
We won a Capital One Cup, mate.
Jermaine Genius, yeah, he was good. But
Fucking hell, he's mentioned every fucking week.
But if
The
they,
wrong theme, mate.
but if they want to bring someone like that in, I think one of the stipulations will be that they don't sell Harry Kane
Yeah.
and that a team is built around him for one more year, and then because I don't think he's going to sign a new contract. So I think he'll run. I could be proven wrong. I probably will be because of the way that Daniel Levy runs the club. But I think that would be if Nangoman's come in, they say we want to sell Harry Kane in the summer. I don't think he'll take the job because he'll have better options. I mean, chances are that Carlo Ancelotti's going to get sacked at Madrid. If things don't go the right way against Man City and they're losing the Champions League and they're that far behind Barcelona, chances are he's going to get sacked. So jobs will open up for him. And then, does he take a Tottenham job and have to rebuild everywhere? Because, is Son going to have another quiet season? Is he going to come back to form? There's still the question marks over Kulusevski. And, is he going to be a permanent Tottenham player?
I think realistically, looking at that Tottenham team, you get rid of these players, these Kane, your son. You get rid of them. The performance against United, telling tale of Harry Kane, mate. Looked like he was just going, "You sign me, we'll compete for the league."
But what other players there though, Cam? Do you get rid of?
If you sell
What,
Kane,
fucking hell?
if you sell Kane,
Yeah. What?
then-
What changes?
What do you mean? What changes? Who do you bring in?
No one. There.
No one.
I'm not.
You're not a director of football.
I don't get paid enough to look out and scout people, but
You're on a
sure
football podcast, so give your opinion.
I'm sure they'll have people out there. There's Lukaku. There's Thingy. Brentford.
Oh fuck! Here
Ivan
we
Toney. Eventually, this is what it comes down to. Yeah, Harry Kane's been a great servant, and he's gone missing in every big game Tottenham have ever played in. Every single game, Kane doesn't do anything. He's good putting 26 goals up. What the fuck's he won? Nothing. Let the boy go away. Let Tottenham hide on this player. Let him go away to a club and build around someone else. He does nothing in big games. In finals, he goes missing.
What
What's
finals
the
have you
point?
got to?
Champions League final,
Right, one game.
the semi-final against Chelsea.
Not a final.
Was he ever done in a big game for Tottenham?
Do you count North London derbies as big games?
Do I? Yeah, but
Well, then he's done a lot.
so he scored 15 goals. Well done. Thierry Henry won the Premier League twice at Tottenham.
Thierry Henry is probably the best striker to ever play in the Premier League.
Kane's gonna have the most goals. You can score in big games. How many has he done at the Emirates? How many times has the kid been beat 5-2 at the Emirates under it? You look at
I'm confused here.
games.
Are we saying he should have been playing centre back, defending those goals,
No, I
or
want him to play up front, and he doesn't. He drops deep too much.
because
Let
who's
him
feeding
play.
them?
Let him play in the
When he
team.
when he burst onto the scene, right, when he was absolutely firing and absolutely going mad and building his reputation, he had Luka Modric behind him. Now he's got
Did he?
Højbjerg.
Did he have Luka Modric?
Yeah, I think for his first season.
Probably for a season. But this is the big question, though. It's so hard, like when you talked about building around a particular player. You had Gareth Bale, right, and you replaced him with Eric Lamela. You had Luka Modric, and you replaced him with Paulinho. You get rid of Harry Kane. Hypothetically, who do you then build around?
The next Soldado, mate. You sign Danjuma on a permanent.
Look, there is one.
Danjuma, fuck, I forgot he went there.
There's three things in this life that's certain, yeah? There's life, there's death, and there's David Levy is not going to let that cunt go on a free. And if you think that, you're smoking fucking sank, mate. David Levy is getting sank out of him. He does not care where Tottenham finish. He doesn't. It's evident. The money that they're going to, the money whoever the manager gets in, whoever comes in the winter, in the summer, the money he's going to get to spend is the money Harry Kane goes on. That's what he's going to get.
Nah, mate, I booked the Kaiser Chiefs in and all these concerts.
Yeah, so he can fucking go to Monaco, shag 18-year-olds or something. Like, that's what he's doing with that. He's not putting
Allegedly.
that back into Tottenham. He's not putting that back. But it's just, it's pointless. He's not going to let him go on a free. I don't see Son sticking around because fucking he's not had a great season, so he can go. Skip gets kicked in the head, he can go. This ends up with me on this podcast just saying, just bin them all, just bin them all because they're shit. They are.
This is like, like when you move clubs on Football Manager, right? And you sort by age, and you realise they're all 35. And you fuck them all off, and then you realise you have a squad of 13, and you are scratching round, right? Realising that you need players.
Transfer interest, none.
Cameron has been in everyone, including their record goal scorer. All he does, all he does is bag 26 goals a season. Yeah, get rid of him. Son. Golden Boot winner last year.
Sheffield United. Tottenham didn't play a Premier League team in the FA Cup and got knocked out. Didn't play a Premier League team and got knocked out against Sheffield United. Sheffield United are piping up. Fuck them. Billy Sharp. I could say something about Billy Sharp. I'm not, because it's a bit too far. But Billy Sharp. My point is, I don't mind. I don't mind if Kane goes. I don't.
But you don't know who to replace him with.
Is there anyone you'd actually keep in that side, Cam?
Lucas Moura, because he gave me a fucking greatest moment as a Tottenham fan. Like some say
Jota
Carling Cup win, but
Jota
yeah,
Sundays.
that and the goal obviously against Ajax to bring us into the Champions League final. But history says Liverpool won that 2-0.
History's correct.
It is correct. Yeah, and that was their 6th European title.
They're big boys. They can talk about stuff. Shit refereeing decision, but just another game Tottenham don't show up in.
So, just in essence, because I just want to,
North London is shit.
Before we move across to other teams in this division,
Yes.
I'm going to give you a rundown of the Tottenham squad. And I want you to either say bin or keep. All right?
This is going to be short.
You ready?
Bin.
Fraser Forster.
Bin. What's the point?
Hugo Lloris.
Fuck. Bin him twice.
Ben Davis.
Bin. Fucking useless.
I'll skip over the academy players.
Yeah, that's good.
Emerson Royale.
Good quarter pounder in France, but bin.
Clement Langley.
Keep, I guess.
He's only on loan, so you're looking to go and buy him, or?
Yeah, go on, fuck it. Why not? We got money to spend.
Pedro Porro.
Keep.
Oh, so keep Pedro Porro. That's nice. So far we've got Longley that you're going out and spending probably 20 million on.
Good deal.
I guess that'll be generated from the Ben Davis and Emerson Royale and Hugo Lloris and
Mate,
Fraser Forster sales.
Who the fuck is paying for Emerson Royale? Have you seen some of them performances?
Romero,
Bin. Unless you've got a yellow card on him, because fuck me, he's good about that.
Davison Sanchez,
Oh, it's just fucking appalling that we even been.
Ryan
Bin him.
Sessegnon.
Keep, I guess.
Keep, okay.
Yeah.
Jafet Tanganga.
Bin, because he got sent off against Arsenal. Cunt.
Moving into the midfields.
Bin.
Bentancur.
Keep, who's been
He's been good.
Yeah.
Before his
Basuma.
injury, he was good.
I've not seen much of him. He was injured, isn't he? Broke his leg or something, so I guess we'll just keep another injury player around.
Eric Dyer.
Bin.
Højbjerg.
Yeah, keep, I guess. Good for a yellow card.
Kulusevski.
Buy, because he's online.
Yeah, okay.
Lucas Moura.
Hero, mate. Got to keep him, man. Yeah. What a moment.
Well, I mean, he's in the last year of his contract, and he's
Give him another one.
He's actually said he's leaving.
Give him another one. Give him a statue outside.
Controversial. Sarr.
Sums it up, doesn't it? Just keep, I guess. Not
Keep.
really.
Okay.
Oliver Skip.
Good again, head kicked. Yeah, he's alright, I guess. I keep. Just average.
Shawn Michaels. Dan Zuma.
Keep.
I mean, he's on loan, so you'd go and activate apparently there is a rumoured
Fuck that then.
Harry Kane.
Fucking get 150 million for him if you can.
Perisic.
Bin.
Richarlison.
Refund everything. That guy, we spent 60 million on him and he scored one goal and then he took his shirt off like he fucking no, gone. Binned. Fine, everything.
Son.
I'd like to keep him, but if he wants to go again, I've got no issues with the boy. Good little servant he's been.
Ryan Mason.
Dead. What scares me is I generally see Tottenham putting him as a head coach. I can see it. See Levy being like, "How much you want? You do it for free."
Because no other fucker will want it.
Who wants it? Because Tottenham don't want to win stuff. Because Levy probably has this massive bonus. He goes, "We'll have a £3 million bonus if you win a trophy." Because Tottenham don't win stuff, and Mourinho gets to a final and goes, "Shit, we should sack Mourinho because he might actually win something." And then, just close my son trying to find a Tottenham shop. Do you mind?
It's like that. It's like that. You know, like when you're signing, when you're shit on FM and you're signing people and you put in like the clause, like
No,
5 million if you win the Premier League.
Yeah, the additional bonuses. Yeah,
that's the thing though. Like, he's just happy to finish sixth, maybe get Champions League, maybe get through the group stage and get into knockouts. Like we're Arsenal, moved into the Emirates. Like, we're just happy being average, and be what it got to be. Isn't it?
Why don't we go through the Premier League table, and we've got to sum up the team season in one word.
Okay.
Right. City, ballers.
Winners.
Haaland.
Yeah. Arsenal, bottle.
Funny.
Choked.
Newcastle, surprising.
Shut up.
It's 2 words, you fucking
Don't care.
6.
We should have really put like how, as in like how, as in
Yeah, exactly.
United,
Blue.
blue.
Yeah, Manchester's blue, mate.
Okay, I'm gonna say double.
No. Oh.
That was mine. Just a fart.
Liverpool,
Unexpected.
Underachieved.
yeah, disappointing. We'll skip over Tottenham. 'Cause
Bin.
This episode has been all about them. Villa,
Surprising.
Emery.
Oh, mine's 2 words. I was going to say good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. Or if we can do 2 words, I'll go post Gerrard. Because as soon as he left,
That's joke.
Brighton, European.
Yeah.
Promising.
Brentford, Ladbrokes.
Ivan.
Skybet.
Fulham,
Expensive.
Shock.
Surprising.
Palace,
Average.
Ow.
Cheerleaders.
Oh.
Chelsea, Shambles.
Diabolical.
Wank.
Bournemouth,
Nightlife.
How? I said, how the fuck are they 13th?
Fair.
Wolves, Portugal.
I was going to say that.
Cheeky Nando's.
On a side note, did you see that Wolves fan that was pretending that he created the Jota song
No.
and was literally,
No.
yeah, so it was like a TikTok, and he was like, I want to get this going at Molyneux, and then he literally started singing, when you score, you make the Wolves sing. Jota on the wing, or Pedro maybe it was, Neto maybe.
Oh, Pedro Neto, yeah.
Fucking absolute bomb of a club. Who has West Brom as rivals? Like, you're not a club. Apologies if there's any Wolves listening. Go back to your cave.
I don't think it will
If there's any fans of Wolverhampton, support a proper football club. West Ham,
Brexit.
Millwall are coming.
Oh, I fucking hope not. I can't
So do
deal with
I,
that
but-
shit.
Moise.
Might say. Leeds, American Pie,
Falling apart again.
Small club.
Forest,
Big club. Disappointed.
Sloth.
Slough, yeah. Collapse, Everton,
Fucked.
Championship,
Cardiff away.
Southampton,
Double fucked.
Ward-Prowse leaving.
I don't think that's Tottenham. I think he's another 30-year-old.
Bye.
Yeah.
Boys, thank you very much for joining me tonight. Good to have you both back. Good to be back at the grind again.
Yeah.
Been good.
No worries. Ladies and gents, thank you very much for tuning in. If you are new to the Football Booth podcast, you can check out all episodes on all big audio platforms such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts and Audible. If you'd like to catch our pretty faces on YouTube, you can go over to our YouTube channel. Whilst you're over there, drop a comment, like the video, subscribe and ring that bell for notifications. And until next Monday, ladies and gents, I bid you all good night and Nastar.